Welcome back to the channel. In 1971, walking into a Pontiac dealership and ordering a GTO Judge Convertible wasn't just buying a car, it was joining the most exclusive club in automotive history. Only 6 people ever did it. Today, I'm counting down the absolute rarest American muscle cars that have gone from showroom failures to auction block legends. These aren't just cars. They're the muscle car lottery tickets that turned regular guys into millionaires. And the craziest part? Some owners had no idea what they were sitting on. Number 12. 1971 Pontiac GTO Judge Convertible. The 1971 Pontiac GTO Judge Convertible is like the unicorn of muscle cars. Rare, powerful, and an absolute legend. Back in the day, muscle cars were king. But by 1971, rising insurance rates and strict emissions rules were forcing these beasts into extinction. Pontiac tried to keep the dream alive, but only 357 Judges were sold that year, and just 17 of those were convertibles. That's right, only 17 people in the entire world had the guts, or the money, to buy one. This thing wasn't just rare, it was a street demon. Under the hood, a 455 cubic inch HO-V8 making 335 horsepower, not as wild as before thanks to new emissions rules, but still powerful enough to rip through the quarter mile in 13.4 seconds at 102 miles per hour. That's still terrifyingly fast for a 4,000-pound convertible. With its aggressive styling, hood scoops, and ram air induction, the Judge looked like it meant business. But despite its power, sales tanked, and Pontiac axed the Judge after 1971. And today, this so-called sales failure is one of the rarest muscle cars ever. One pristine example recently sold for $440,000 turns out being a failure in the 70s makes you a legend. Number 11. 1971 Plymouth GTX Hemi. The 1971 Plymouth Hemi GTX was the last hurrah for the gentleman's muscle car before muscle cars got hit with regulations, gas prices, and insurance rates so high they might as well have come with a loan officer. But Plymouth wasn't going out without a fight. This beast had a 426 Hemi, also known as the elephant engine, because it was massive, powerful, and completely unbothered by your fuel economy concerns. This car wasn't just fast, it was a street-legal rocket. With a quarter-mile time of 13.5 seconds, it could humiliate anything that dared line up next to it. The styling was as aggressive as its performance. Designed by 29-year-old John Hurlitz, it had a curvy fuselage look inspired by fighter jets, complete with an air grabber hood scoop that popped up like a muscle car flexing its biceps. But even raw power couldn't outrun reality. Due partly to skyrocketing insurance rates, sales plummeted to just 2,942 units in 1971, with only 30 lucky souls getting their hands on the fire-breathing Hemi version. It was the last dance for Mopar's legendary V8. The elephant engine was discontinued after this year. Plymouth gave it one final roar, and then, just like that, the GTX was gone, taking the golden age of muscle with it. Number 10. 1971 Dodge Challenger RT Hemi Convertible. This 1971 Dodge Challenger convertible is a time capsule, trapped in a barn for 44 years, gathering dust but still flexing its legendary Mopar muscle. Back in the day, the Challenger arrived late to the muscle car party, but it made up for it with high-compression V8's eye-popping colors and an attitude that screamed, "I eat Mustangs for breakfast." By 1971, the muscle car golden age was fading fast, thanks to sky-high insurance rates and looming emissions regulations. Sales tanked, and Chrysler killed off its big block V8s. This made the 1970 to 71 Challengers instant collectibles, especially the fire-breathing 426 Hemi and 446-pack models. But this barn find, it's not one of those monsters. Instead, it packs a modest 318 cubic inch 5.2-liter small block, good for a respectable growl, but not a drag strip terror. What makes this car truly special? The convertible top. Dodge axed the drop top after 1971, and only 1,870 of these beauties hit U.S. dealerships that year. Despite some rust and a long nap, it's in shockingly good shape. Now, after 4 decades in hiding, it's finally getting a second chance. A full restoration awaits, and soon, this Mopar legend will be back on the road, turning heads and breaking hearts, just like it did in '71. Number 9, 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1. The 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1 wasn't just another muscle car, it was a torque monster that made even Hemi owners sweat. While the Mopar crowd flexed their 426 Hemi, Buick quietly unleashed a 455 cubic inch V8 with a staggering 510 pound-feet of torque, making it the undisputed king of street brawls. General Motors had just lifted its 400 cubic inch cap, and Buick, normally seen as the luxury grandpa brand, decided to kick the door down with a performance beast. Enter the GSX, a hotter, meaner version of the GS 455. It came in only 2 colors, Saturn Yellow, because, you know, space race hype, and Apollo White. Out of the mere 678 built, 400 lucky maniacs opted for the Stage 1 version, which added a wilder camshaft, increased compression, and actual power closer to 400 horsepower, though Buick played it cool by listing just 360 horsepower on paper. This wasn't just about power, it was about humiliation. Hemi Cudas, Chevelle LS6s, and Mustangs found themselves eating Buick's dust. And the kicker? The GSX was plush, leather, AC, the whole deal, meaning you could gap a Camaro at a stoplight and arrive at dinner in comfort. Fast? Oh, absolutely. Cool? Undeniably. Number 8. 1971 Chevrolet Corvette ZR2. The 1971 Corvette ZR2 wasn't just a muscle car, it was a roaring, tire-smoking, take-no-prisoners beast that nearly vanished into history. Everyone knows the legendary ZR1, but few remember that ZR2 was once the undisputed king of Corvettes. It was a 1-year-only masterpiece packing a monstrous 454 cubic inch LS6 V8, belting out 425 horsepower. Chevy had to dial it down from 450 horsepower in the Chevelle. This wasn't your Sunday cruise Corvette. The ZR2 came with an M22 Rock Crusher transmission, a twin-disc clutch, heavy-duty suspension, and brakes that could probably stop a freight train. Air conditioning? A radio? Forget it. Chevy didn't bother. This was a machine built for raw performance, not comfort. Only 188 LS6 Corvettes rolled out in 1971, and just 12 of them got the full ZR2 treatment. Even crazier? Only 2 were convertibles. One of them, in Ontario orange, was up for grabs at Meekum's auction, hoping to land somewhere between $350,000 and $450,000. Back in the day, the ZR2 ruled the streets. Now, it's an ultra-rare collector's dream, a reminder of a time when muscle cars weren't just fast, they were borderline terrifying. Number 7. 1970 Ford Torino King Cobra 429. Ever heard of the 1970 Ford Torino King Cobra? No? Well, that's because it never got the chance to eat up asphalt like it was meant to. This beast was Ford's answer to the Dodge Charger, Daytona, and Plymouth Superbird, those legendary NASCAR monsters that could hit 200 miles per hour and made everyone else look like they were driving minivans. Ford, not one to back down, went full mad scientist, creating a sleek, aerodynamically tweaked Torino that could go head-to-head with Mopar's finest. The plan? Slap on a NASCAR-optimized front end, throw in a thunderous 429 cubic inch Boss V8, and send it out to conquer the high-speed ovals. But here's the kicker, it never raced. Why? NASCAR changed the rules faster than Ford could finish the project, effectively killing the King Cobra before it even had a shot. Only 3 prototypes were made, making this one of the rarest muscle cars ever. If you ever spot one at an auction, know this: you're looking at a phantom of speed, a car that could have been a legend but instead became a lost chapter in Ford's battle against the muscle car gods. Number 6. 1970 Plymouth Superbird Hemi. The Plymouth Superbird wasn't just a muscle car, it was a middle finger to aerodynamics doubters and a love letter to speed. Built in 1970 as Plymouth's answer to Dodge's Charger Daytona, the Superbird was designed for NASCAR dominance. But here's the catch. NASCAR required Plymouth to build nearly 2,000 of these wild-winged beasts for public roads, meaning everyday folks could own a race car with a license plate. This lemon twist Superbird is a rare gem. Of the 1,935 built, only 135 got the legendary 426 Hemi V8, and even fewer, 77, came with a 3-speed automatic. That means if you had one in your garage, you weren't just flexing, you were holding on to $500,000 in steel, rubber, and untamed horsepower. This particular Superbird has barely stretched its legs, logging just 5,733 miles since its 1994 restoration. Its original Hemi is still intact, a rarity in itself. Given that Hemi Superbirds routinely fetch over $500,000, with one hitting $1.65 million, this winged warrior isn't just a car, it's a rolling treasure chest. Oh, and yes, it still goes beep beep. Number 5. 1970 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am Ram Air 4. This is no ordinary muscle car, it's an ultra-rare, fire-breathing beast that makes modern sports cars sweat. The 1970 Pontiac Trans Am Ram Air 4 wasn't just fast, it was a middle finger to the competition. With only 88 ever made, this was the apex predator of the Pontiac lineup. Under the hood? A 400 cubic inch V8, factory built to dominate. It sucked in fresh air like a jet engine through a functional hood scoop and had cylinder heads designed for maximum airflow, plus an aluminum intake manifold to match. The compression ratio? A race-ready 10.5 to 1, which meant this thing demanded high-octane fuel and had zero patience for amateurs. Let's talk power. 370 horsepower at 5,500 RPM, but that's the official number. Real-world estimates suggest it was understated to keep insurance companies from losing their minds. This monster hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 6 seconds, and it blasted through the quarter mile at over 100 miles per hour. Mind-blowing for 1970. Only 29 of these machines came with an automatic transmission, making this one of the rarest of the rare. It's not just a muscle car, it's a mechanical legend, and if you see one on the road, consider yourself lucky. Number 4. 1971 Plymouth Barracuda Hemi Convertible. The 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda wasn't just a muscle car. It was an automotive legend with enough raw power to make Mustangs and Camaros tremble. Born from the Barracuda lineage, it ditched its economy roots in 1970 and went full beast mode with Chrysler's E-body platform. And if you wanted to turn heads and possibly rattle eardrums, the Hemi Cuda was the way to go. Designed by John E. Hurlitz, this beast ditched its valiant roots and got a muscular E-body, making it shorter, wider, and meaner. Unlike its Dodge Challenger cousin, it shared no body panels, meaning it had its own attitude. Let's talk numbers. Under the hood, the mighty 426 Hemi engine roared with 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque. Translation? It could blast from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 5.8 seconds and tear through the quarter mile in 14 seconds. Back in the early 70s, that was downright terrifying. And the looks? Bold colors like sassy grass, Moulin Rouge, and vitamin C made sure no one missed it. The 1971 facelift added quad headlights and aggressive fender gills, making it look even meaner. Today, these beasts fetch insane prices. In 1970, the Hemi option cost $900. Now, a pristine Hemi Cuda can sell for over $1 million. So if you see one at an auction, be prepared to sell a kidney. Or two. Number 3. 1971 AMC Javelin AMX 401. Imagine wanting a classic muscle car but realizing Mustangs and Camaros have price tags that make your wallet cry. Enter the 1971 AMC Javelin AMX, the dark horse of muscle cars, built to go fast, look aggressive, and not break the bank. AMC wasn't Detroit's Big Three, but they punched way above their weight, rolling out the Javelin in '68 as a late-to-the-party pony car. By 1971, AMC got serious. Aggressive flared fenders, a spoiler straight from a racetrack, and a fiberglass hood with functional cowl induction. This wasn't just for show. AMC wanted Trans Am dominance, and they got it, snagging 2 championship titles. Under the hood, 3 V8 options, from a respectable 245 horsepower 360 to a monstrous 401 cubic inch 6.6-liter beast pushing 330 horses. And if you check the Go package box, you got a meaner suspension, power brakes, a limited slip diff, and a 140-mile-per-hour speedo, because why not? In 1971, the manufacturer sold only 2,054 AMX units, of which 745 were equipped with the powerful 401 engine. Despite its racing pedigree and brutal power, the Javelin AMX remains one of the most affordable muscle cars today. So, while everyone else is bidding their souls away for a Cuda, you could be actually driving a muscle legend. Number 2, 1970 Dodge Coronet RT Hemi Convertible. Imagine a muscle car so rare that you're more likely to find a winning lottery ticket on the sidewalk. That's the 1970 Dodge Coronet RT Hemi Convertible, one of the scarcest muscle cars ever made. Only 13 were ever made, and this particular dark green beauty? It's one of just 4 with a 4-speed manual transmission. That's right, this is the muscle car equivalent of finding a diamond in a junkyard. The Coronet never got the love that the Charger or Super B did, but let's be honest, with a 426 cubic inch Hemi V8 under the hood, it wasn't exactly an underdog. This beast was every bit as fast as its famous Mopar siblings, but almost no one checked the Hemi option box. Why? Maybe because driving one felt like taming a stampede with a steering wheel. This particular Coronet isn't just rare, it's got receipts. Full documentation from day one, numbers matching everything, and a fresh rotisserie restoration that makes it look better than new. The price tag? It hit the auction block for $247,500, making it the most expensive Coronet ever sold. More expensive than almost every second-gen Hemi Charger. A Coronet outpricing a Charger? Now that's muscle car justice. Number 1, 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda Convertible. If you think rare cars are just Ferraris and Bugattis, let me introduce you to the real unicorn, the 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda Convertible. Only 11 were ever built, and today, just 7 remain in the US. These things don't just turn heads, they break bank accounts selling for well over $1 million at auction. Why? Well, let's start with the 426 Hemi V8 under the hood. This beast cranked out 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque, which was insane for its time. With a 4-speed manual transmission, the Cuda could hit 60 miles per hour in 5.2 seconds and had a top speed of 140 miles per hour. Not bad for a muscle car the size of a small battleship. The 1971 model was also the only year with quad headlights, and let's be real, this thing looked mean. But here's the kicker, only 3 convertibles got the Hemi and a 4-speed manual. That's rarer than a polite New York cab driver. Today, if you see one, congrats. You're looking at the rarest Plymouth ever, but good luck getting behind the wheel. Most of these beauties live in private collections, never to be driven hard again.